In our last class, we rounded off with Google Workspace. All right, and in this class, we want to quickly cover Slack, Trello, and Zoom. Okay, Slack, Trello, and Zoom. If we are able to cover these three today, then we've done a great deal. And then that means I would send in links for us to watch these other videos on YouTube. All right, these are CRM tools, but these other ones are majorly collaboration and communication tools. Okay, so please, any link I send, kindly take your time to watch them. Take your time to watch them. The reason why we cannot cover them is because of time. All right, we are expected to cover a lot in just 2 weeks, and that's why I'm trying to squeeze out everything so that you get at least a handful of what you can begin your freelance journey with. So without wasting much time, let's head over to Slack. To sign up on Slack, you have to go to the URL slack.com. Slack is a major collaboration and communication tool. Okay, what I mean by collaboration, it means that it is a tool that enhances free workflows among colleagues of the same or different organization. All right, it helps teammates, it helps colleagues, it helps staff of the same organization to collaborate easily, thereby saving time. Okay, previously, before the advent of tools like Slack, when major organizations like banking industries and some other big companies, when their staff need to communicate amongst themselves while they are in the same company, in the same building, perhaps say one person is on the ground floor and the other person is on the fifth floor, and the customer is right in front of the customer care representative who needs an information from the manager, say for instance, and then the only way out is, if he doesn't want to go up to meet the manager, he has to send a mail. Okay, and sometimes this mail take time. All right, sometimes this mail take time such that the manager has to receive the mail, and upon receiving the mail, he has to open the mail, read through the mail before he now responds to the said customer service representative. All these are time consuming, and on the part of the customer or the client, they might not find it funny. And if that happens, it might even cause some kind of customer delay, also should I delay in attending the customers. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So Slack actually helps to cut off that barrier. Okay, with the advent of Slack, we are sorry about that. With the advent of Slack, we are able to actually have what can be likened to a live chat. Okay, such that colleagues of the same organization or teammates of the same project can actually have a live chat communicating with themselves without necessarily having to open their mail, logging in to their mailbox and start reading the mail before they begin to respond. Okay, so this is basically how Slack has helped organizations improve in their collaboration and in their communication with each other. All right, so we will be seeing exactly the workaround of Slack. We're showing us the basic templates and the usage of how Slack could be of help and of great use to us as we progress in our journey of freelancing. All right, so like I said, to begin with, you sign up using slack.com. You click on create a new workspace. Once you create a new workspace, it would automatically take you to the sign in page. All right, but for me, already have an account, the Slack account. And you also need to be informed that Slack has both a paid version and a free version. Okay, so for the first trial, once you sign up on Slack newly, you'll be entitled to the free version and the paid version, all right, for some period of time. And after your paid version elapses, that is the free trial elapses, you would stop enjoying the features of the paid version. So to sign up, like I said, you just need to click on create a new, and I think what you see here actually should be sign up, but rather it's asking me to create a new workspace here because I already have an account with them. Okay, so let me open a different tab altogether, so you will see exactly what should pop up on your screen. And that reminds me, Slack also has a mobile version, okay? But as we all know, there will always be some limitations to what you can get on the mobile version of an application as compared to the desktop version, okay? So Slack can be used either on PC via the browser. It can also be used on PC via the desktop client, that is the desktop app, and then you could use it via your mobile app. All right, so this is exactly what you should see when you open up your slack.com URL. You will see try for free, and you'll see talk to sales, you'll see sign in and stuff like this. Okay, so for somebody who does not have a Slack account, to create Slack, you just need to click on sign up with email, or you simply sign in or sign up with your Google account. Okay, either I use any of these two options here, or you use this third option, which is to try for free. All right, and then that takes you through the process of signing up for your Slack account. All right, however, for somebody who doesn't have a Slack account, because most times when you open a Slack account, it is assumed that you are a business owner. All right, because after opening a Slack account, you will be asked to invite your co-workers or your staff or your employees. Okay, because when we get into Slack, you see the different reasons why that is needed. You cannot, Slack is not like WhatsApp where you chat one-on-one per se, just for that purpose alone. No, Slack goes beyond that. Slack can actually be considered as an advanced version of WhatsApp and instant messaging application. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's just hop into Slack and see what we have for us. This is the desktop version of Slack. This is the desktop version of Slack, and I'm so sorry about this. This is my client's conversation with me. I'm not supposed to open this. So this is the desktop version of Slack, and on the left hand side here, you would see at the extreme left here, you would see different icons with different letters inside a squared shape. You see JF, you see HI, you see N and AD. These are called workspaces. Okay, for each Slack account that is created, what is created is what is referred to as a workspace. And when you open an account, you open a workspace. So you can actually belong or join more than one workspace, provided you have either the URL to that workspace, or you have the link to join the workspace, or you were invited by the owner of the workspace to come into the workspace and partner with them. So in this case, this is the Slack account that was created by your seniors, the freelance alumni, those who took their class in January. You can see the name, January Freelance Masterclass. This is for my clients in the US. We use Slack to communicate. So that is one of the reasons why I said you need to learn how to use Slack, because a couple of clients that I have encountered actually needed me to communicate with them via Slack, and if I had said no, perhaps it would have cost me that opportunity. So in the business world, Slack is actually highly revered when it comes to communication and collaboration. Here also is a November class test running. This is for my colleagues and myself. And then here, this is for one of the students that just finished the March freelance masterclass. So I usually tell each set to create a Slack account. One person can create a Slack account and name that Slack account according to the set that you belong. Okay, so once you create the account, then you send over the link to the group so that every other person can join that workspace, and then you can begin to play around the workspace to familiarize yourself with it. So once you join any Slack workspace, you would see the name of the workspace at the side here. Okay, and if you join more than one, you see them all lined up here. All right, so whichever one you are viewing presently, just as I'm presently viewing the first one, you can see there is a white border line around it. Okay, with the name at the top here. There is a drop down arrow here. Once I click on the drop down arrow, I will see the information about this particular workspace. The name, the symbol JF, the name January Freelance Masterclass. Underneath the name here, this which I am highlighting is a URL for this Slack workspace. So even if I don't know the link to this Slack workspace and I have this URL, once I paste this URL in my web browser, it will automatically open this workspace for me. All right, so this is another way of getting into a Slack workspace. Every other thing here, invite people to January. This is how you invite people. We will still see other ways to do that. Creating a channel, we'll talk about that briefly very soon. Preferences, administration, okay. This is basically for the person who opened the account and those that she would likely give administrative roles to. Okay, so you can actually run Slack as an administrator, and you can just run Slack as a member. All right, so for the sake of this training, I will not be covering the administrative use of Slack. Okay, I'll rather stick to the basics so that you don't overload yourself with informations. Tools, we won't be looking at tools, sorry, because this is also a kind of administrative functions, tools and analytics. Okay, and then this is how to link your mobile Slack to your desktop Slack. Okay, you sign in to mobile and you can sign out of this particular workspace. Okay, if you sign out of this workspace, you'll still be left with other workspaces on your timeline. All right, so that said, on the left hand side here, this side is the menu. Okay, you call this the menu, and the menu here shows us the things that we have set up as our preference. Let me just use myself and my colleagues Slack workspace. So this is better off. So on the menu here, it shows us the preferences that we have set up, and I will be showing us how to set up those preferences. So anything you've set up as preference will show up here, just like we saw when we were treating Gmail. Whatever you want to have quick access to, okay, these are like quick access thumbnails or templates that you can click on to quickly view what you want to view in them, rather than having to go through settings to start calling it out. Okay, so everything here falls under menu button. We have all unread messages, we have threads, we have mentions and reaction. Threads means posts or comments or conversations that you have engaged in within the Slack workspace. Okay, the mentions and reactions talks about where your name has been mentioned or where a reaction has been made on your comment. All right. Draft, you started the message, you couldn't finish it for any reason, it saves in the draft. Saved items, as the name implies, anything at all you save on your Slack workspace, you would find it under the saved item category. Slack Connect, this is basically for those who were invited from another Slack workspace. For instance, you have your own Slack workspace, and then I invite you to join my Slack workspace. You would automatically join in through this category called Slack Connect. All right, it is totally different when you have to, sign up before you can actually join. When you try to sign up on Slack, you understand what I'm trying to say. And once you see anybody with this symbol, if there's anybody joining via their company's Slack account, you will see this symbol right in front of the person's name. Okay, right in front of the person's name once the person joins, and you will be shown that there is a number of Slack Connect. Just as you can see here, there are 3 drafts that I started and I didn't finish. Okay, you also see how many Slack Connects that is present in that workspace. Channel browser simply talks about browsing different channels. We'll talk about channels briefly soon. Apps talks about integrating third-party applications. Okay, you can actually integrate applications like Google Drive, just as you can see here. I integrated my Google Drive into this Slack workspace, such that if anything is happening within my Google Drive and I am presently working on Slack, I will receive the notification without having to sign out of Slack, head over to Google Drive to start accessing those things. Let me quickly give you an example. I think it was 2 days ago when we were treating Google Drive. And then I sent out a link during the training, and then I asked some of you to click on the link. Okay, I was given a notification that 2 people clicked on the link, and so you can see the notification here. If I open my Google Drive messages, I would see, you can see these 2 people. Where are they? Yeah, Christine has seen sorry, no, not this. Not this, sorry. Trying to call them out. I think I deleted them. Sorry about that. But as soon as you get a message, from your Google Drive, provided your Google Drive is linked to your Slack workspace, you would receive a notification on your Slack workspace, okay, such that you can easily, without having to leave Slack, you can easily do whatever you want to do via the Slack workspace. I think it was here. Let me check this other Slack workspace. I think it was here that I found it. Just give me a moment, please. Yeah, I think so. Yes, this is it. So remember, I shared this file 2 nights ago during the training, and I asked some of you to click on the link and tell me what you see. So these 2 people were able to click on the link, and I was notified that Pius Obina and Agu Grace are trying to gain access into this my file. So do I want to grant access? If I say grant access, they will automatically have access to the file. Okay, so that is how integrating apps work on Slack. There are other apps that you can integrate. I'll show us that briefly. That said, we have more. Okay, under more you can see all DMs, that is all your direct messages. You can see file browser. If there are files that you have shared or that you have saved on your Slack workspace, you find them under file browser. File browser is like a way to search for different files on your entire Slack workspace. People and user groups talks about the different people that belong to the Slack workspace, okay? Generally everybody. Now we head over to the next, which is channel. Channel is considered to be like department. This is where the business setup of Slack comes to play. Now, you can set up, just like you have WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, so also you have Slack channels, okay? Groups on Slack are called channels. And the reason why they are called channels is because they are usually used by people of different, should I say, departments or different teams. For instance, this particular client of mine, okay, even though I'm not opening his direct messages, this particular client of mine that I'm working with, okay, this is his own Slack workspace, which he invited me to by sending me an email invite, okay? So you can either be given an email invite such that your boss will send an email message to you. I'll show you how to do that. You would either send an email message by linking your email to the Slack account. You will receive a notification in your mailbox. You click on the notification, follow the process, and you'll find yourself inside the Slack workspace. Or the boss could just simply send you the link of the Slack workspace to join. Once you click on the link, you will find your way into the Slack workspace. All right. So that said, the client of mine already bought a Slack account, all right, and he created different channels. So these are the different channels he already created, and each of these channels have different people inside them working on different projects. So you see, so Slack channels can be considered as a department in a company. Okay, so if a company, for instance, creates a Slack account, they could even host a meeting within Slack. Yes, Slack has that feature, but unfortunately, this is the free version. Okay, but you can actually host a training, host a meeting, have a live conversation, video call, audio call, whatever you could think of as far as a live chat is concerned. Okay, and each department in that company can create their own channel. So you can see finance department here, sales department here, marketing department, and so on and so forth, administrative, HR, and the rest of them. Okay, so each department can actually create their own Slack channel. And channel simply means the groups in the Slack workspace. Okay, now that said, there is a general channel where everybody who joins the Slack workspace belong. And that is a channel that is like the default channel. For every Slack workspace you create, a general channel is automatically created for you. You don't need to create a general channel, so that anybody that enters your Slack workspace will automatically be found in the general channel, or can automatically join the general channel by choice. Okay. Now, general channel by default is known to always be the channel that holds the largest number of people. Okay, what do I mean by that? When you look at this channel, you check out announcements. Look up here under announcements. Look up here where my mouse is hovering. You see there are 140 members here. When you check out random, you look up here, you would see that there are, sorry, just give it time to pop up. I hope you all can still hear me. You can see there are 164 persons in random channel. When you go to training room, you see the number might be less and it could be more, 138. Okay, you go to workplace, you will see 163. But then come to general, you see 164. So you can see that general and random happen to have the highest number, and that is because by default, general is known to be the channel that holds or that hosts everybody on a particular Slack channel. On a particular Slack workspace. And then those in general can then decide to join other groups of their interests. Okay. That said, you need to also know that channels can either be public or private. If a channel is private, this symbol, which is hashtag or hash symbol, will change to a padlock symbol, showing that it is a private channel. A private channel cannot be joined without the permission of the person who created it. So you have to either be invited or you have to be added to the channel. You can't simply just click on it, just like you click on this channel and it opens up and then you join automatically. No. Okay. However, if you see channels that have hash symbols like this, it shows that they are all public channels which can be joined by anybody who decides or who has interest in joining them. All right. That said, under here you find direct messages. Okay. Direct message, as the name implies, are messages that individuals send directly to you, not to the group. Okay. Now let's quickly look at this icon here. At the top side here, you see this hamburger icon. When you click on it, it gives you this drop down. If you are able to understand this drop down and everything inside it, you have basically understood everything that concerns Slack. Beginning with file, new message, as the name implies, it helps you to start sending a brand new message to anybody of your choice that is present in the Slack workspace. Okay, so a click on it will open up and a settings where you can then call out somebody's name to send them a message. Okay, that said, still on file, you can create a new channel. And when you click on new channel, it will give you settings on how to create a new channel. You can see create a new channel. What should be the name of the channel? This is where you name the channel. You can give it any name of your choice. Okay, just as you can see different channel names here. So this is where you can name your channel, either marketing department, sales department, foreign affairs, okay, or anything of your choice. It could even be games, if that is what you people want to be doing in that channel, just playing games. It could be gist, it could be anything of your choice, as long as it's a channel that it's a Slack workspace that you have an access to. Okay, and any member of a Slack workspace can actually create a channel. All right, it's not only limited to the admin, except if the admin decides to disable that privilege. But I don't recommend that when you begin to work for big companies or when you begin to work for clients and then they invite you to their Slack workspace, I don't recommend you go open a channel on another person's Slack workspace. Please avoid it. Don't be tempted. Only stick to the channel that your client has invited you to and don't do further than that. All right. So once you name your channel, you can give it a description. Once you give it a description, which is optional, as you can see, you can then decide whether you want the channel to be private or public. If it's a private channel, you toggle this on. If it is a public channel you need, you toggle it off. However, you need to follow this instruction that once you have turned this to a private channel and you create that channel, it can never be turned or reversed to public channel again. So you want to be sure that you intend creating a private channel before you head on to toggle this on. So this is basically how you create a channel. We still head back to file and then over to workspace. Workspace simply shows you all the different Slack workspaces that you belong to. In this case, you can see I belong to about 4 different workspaces. Okay, and further down here, it says click next workspace. Presently, I am on November class test running. If I click next workspace, it will take me to Advent Digital Hub. If I click next again, it will take me to January Freelancing Masterclass. Next again, brings me here. Next, and that is how I continue to go around the loop. Okay, so this particular option here is just to help me navigate different workspaces without having to go searching for them. Okay, but I don't think you'll be needing this because you can always just use the icon by the side of the menu here. Okay, but we just need to have that in mind in case for any reason you are here and for one reason or the other you want to navigate to another workspace to check up something there. So that is what it is for. The same thing applies to previous workspace. If I click on previous workspace, I'm presently here to take me back the other workspace. If I click on previous again, it takes me to January. Previous again brings me to Advent, and so on and so forth. All right. And this is how you can sign into another workspace. So if you have another workspace, for instance, if Priska creates a workspace for the group and then she sends the link, I could just come over here and then sign into that workspace if I have the URL. Okay. And then I can create a new workspace for myself if I want to. This is simply how you go about that. Having said that, this is the option for you to invite people. Okay, even though when you are creating a fresh Slack account from the start, if you are creating an account, remember I said once you create an account, it is considered that you are a business owner. So while you are creating the account, you will be asked to invite people. Okay, as soon as you're creating the account, you'll be given the option to invite people. But if you don't want to invite people, you can skip that and continue registration process. And when you are done and your workspace has been created, you can then head over to this option to begin to invite people. All right. So to invite people, you click on invite people, and then it takes you through this invite procedure. All right. You can either type in the email address of the person you want to invite, and then you send the invite link through their email. This is how most employers would invite you to their Slack workspace if they will be using Slack to communicate with you. All right. So if they don't want to do that, they can just simply copy the invite link here and send it to you on Upwork or on whatever platform that you and your clients have chosen to communicate. All right. This is a little advanced, so not so advanced, but I don't think you'll be needing any of this. But you can add your Slack from G Suite. But these two method is enough for you to invite anybody that you wish to invite. So that is that on invite. We return back to file and we head over to preference. So preference is the settings option that helps you to customize the look and the feel of your Slack workspace. Okay, it is under preference here that you set different categories of options. What kind of notifications do you want to be receiving from Slack? Is it when everybody sends a message to the Slack that all kind of messages you want to receive a notification? Of course, this will be disturbing. Do you only want a notification when a direct message is sent or when your name has been mentioned? Okay? Or you don't even want a notification at all? You can click on nothing. All right? And do you want to use different settings for your mobile device or you want to retain the same settings? You can check that here. Notify me about replies to threads I am following. You can check that if you want. Show a badge in my sidebar when I have a new Slack Connect invitation. Remember when I talked about Slack Connect and that hexagon shape? That is what it's talking about. That if there is a Slack Connect invitation, that it should show a sidebar. All right. So other things here are what you would need to come over to Slack when Priska must have created a Slack account for us. Everybody is expected to head over to Slack, play around it, familiarize yourself with it. note that whatever you set up here as a preference sticks to your own particular Slack, not to everybody's Slack. Okay, so that is why it is called preferences. How you want your own Slack to look like, how you wish to use your Slack. All right. Sidebar talks about this menu here. Everything under the sidebar here that you wish to have quick access to. This is where you set them up. So you can see all these things that I ticked here are things I have decided that I want to see on this my sidebar. Anything I untick here now will simply go out of my sidebar. So you can head over to your own Slack workspace and check out things that you want to quickly navigate, attach them to your sidebar. Themes, as the name implies, it helps you to decorate and give your Slack account or your Slack interface a nice look. Okay, so this is where you fix the colors and other feel and templates, okay, and themes on your Slack account. Messages and media, as the name implies, this is how you want to be operating your messages, okay, how you want your messages to come in, okay, how you want the names of the people to show up when they send you a message, and other things that you may want to consider. You can head over to messages and media to decide how that works for you. Language and region, this is where you set up your language and your time zone. All right. Accessibility, this is basically how you set your font size, how big you want your lettering to be on Slack account or your Slack app. Are the letters too tiny? You can make it large or bold, whichever one that suits you. You can also do other stuffs, other settings down here as far as accessibility is concerned. Mark as read, as the name implies, is something you may just check around. We already treated some of these things when we were touching on Gmail. Okay, audio and video, just to test whether your camera and your microphone is properly set. Connected account. This talks about other accounts that you have linked up to your Slack or that you have signed in with Slack. Privacy and visibility. As the name implies, it simply talks about how people get to interact with your profile. Okay, what are the things that you wish to share? You can see people outside your company includes people from outside your company who can see your Slack account. Do you want to share your contact with them, your Slack contact with them? And lastly, advanced. So I encourage us at your own free time to play around this setup once you have your Slack account created, so that you could better have a feel of the Slack workspace. Now that is that under preferences. Okay, we also have settings and administration. I already said we won't be touching much on this because it's basically for administrative purposes, but just for this training I'll touch on this particular one, which is manage app. Manage apps takes you straight to the Slack market space. Okay, this market space is where you integrate other application into your Slack account. All right, this is where you get to see other third-party applications like Zoom, Trello, Google Drive, Gmail, and the rest of them, which you want to integrate with your Slack account so that you do not need to sign out of your Slack before you can have access to them. Can everybody still hear me, please? I feel I lost network. Can everybody still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can hear
Okay,
you.
thank you. So, while that is loading, let's continue. We'll get back to that later. All right, so still under file, you can see this is just file that has taken us almost around the entire Slack workspace. That's why I said if you're able to understand everything here, you basically have a ground knowledge of Slack workspace. All right. So after this, this is basically to customize the Slack workspace. So Priska, you want to focus on this very portion, which is the administration and settings, because you'll be the one to do most of the setup. It's not so difficult. Anything you don't know, just leave it the way it is. All right, leave it the way it is. Analytics talks about reporting on how different people operate on a particular workspace. So if your boss wants to know how you have been interacting on your Slack workspace, which he has invited you to, all he needs to do is to go to the analytics and see how you have been collaborating with others via Slack. Okay, so everything can actually be detected. You can't hide anything, especially in this remote age. This is where you get to sign out of any Slack that you're no longer interested in or that you don't want to work in anymore. You can also close this and quit the entire Slack. All right, so over to edit. Undo and redo, we already know that, used to correct mistakes. Cut, copy, and paste, very simple. We already familiar with those. Paste and match style. Okay, this is another advanced method of copying and pasting. Okay, paste and match style. It's a different thing when I just highlight this. For instance, I highlight this. So let's say I highlight somebody's name. Okay, let's say I highlight this somebody now, and then I copy it. I head over to my text box and then I paste it. What would be pasted is just what I copied at somebody. Okay, but when I want to use the advanced feature paste and match style, it simply means that this option should copy not just the word, which is, not just the write up, which is at somebody. It should also copy the manner or the font style and even the font size with which it was written. Okay, so copy even the design, the way it was designed, the way the letter is written, everything. That is what this paste and match style is used for. Delete is very obvious that everybody knows what that is for. Select all, the same thing applies. Use to select everything on your choice of highlighting. Okay, find, just like a way to search for anything on your Slack workspace. Keyboard navigation, these are like ways to learn your different keyboard shortcuts if you want to. Under view, we have reload. If for any reason your Slack is not working or it's hanging, you can reload it. You have force reload. If after trying to reload it still fails to reload, you can force the Slack account or the Slack app to reload afresh. Okay, we have toggle full screen. This is just to toggle between full screen and minimize screen. Hide sidebar. If you don't want to be seeing this sidebar here, you can hide it. Actual size, zoom in and zoom out. These are just zoom features. Okay, to zoom into your Slack account. If you don't want people to see a particular portion of your Slack account, you can always use that feature to zoom in or zoom out. Or if you cannot see the letterings clearly, you can also employ that feature. Under Go, we have switch to channel. Okay, this will automatically switch between different channels that you already are present in. All on red, this talks about all the messages that you are yet to attend to. Threads, we already mentioned this at the beginning. All DMs, the same thing. Draft, mention, and reaction, saved item. We basically talked about all this when we were looking at this sidebar. Okay, so everything here has been mentioned except workflow builder, which I said is an administrative feature. Okay, it's an administrative feature and it's also only present in the paid version of Slack. Okay, in the paid version of Slack. So hopefully when I send out this recording, I will send out another type of recording which I did when I was using a paid version of Slack, so that you can, note the differences. Downloads talks about the various files that you have downloaded on a particular Slack workspace. Profile here, this is another place I want to dwell on. When you click on profile, it opens up your profile on Slack. This is where you get to set up what you want people to see, or what people will get to see about you. You want to edit anything, you click on edit profile here, and then it gives you the privilege to start putting in the different things you want people to see you for. Okay, with your name, your display name, which can be different from your name if you want to. What you do, you can put in here, your phone number, your time zone, upload a picture, which I actually recommend you do. All right, and then you can save your changes if you feel you are done. Okay, save your changes, and then we still head back to the profile settings. We have set status. Set status just like we see on our WhatsApp. When you want to set your status, for those of you who have never changed your status on WhatsApp, your status is probably I am using WhatsApp, something like that. So this is where you get to set status. If you want to change your status, you can do that here. If you are in a meeting, you can write I'm in a meeting. If you're out on vacation, you can write I'm out on vacation. This is very crucial because unlike us here in this part of the world, we don't value this. But for those who know the uses, okay, they understand that the easiest way to communicate with people in your absence when you are not online is to update your status. So if you're sleeping, you can say sleeping. If you're traveling or commuting, you can say traveling or commuting or vacating, okay? And stuff like that. If you're in a meeting, having a session, you can say I'm in a meeting. Just put it up. Even the same thing applies on WhatsApp. Both your WhatsApp status, but some of us only use it for comedy and probably gossip, gisting and making funny jokes. But status is actually meant to update what you are doing presently, so that people who need your attention can be aware of whether or not they can get your attention at a given time. All right. So that is that for status. Back to this section here, you see more. You can still go back and view preference, and every other thing that we share here is something that you can actually play around with on your own. You can account settings, you can view your files, you can set yourself as a way. For those of you that love to, hide from people online, you can set yourself as a way so that people will not know that you're actually online. Or you can return it back to online. And right here, you will see your ID number. ID number talks about your Upwork ID number. All right. So that's basically everything that you need to know about the profile. Okay, everything we need to know about the profile. We head over to, we just finished with Go. We head over to history. As the name implies, history talks about the past things that you have done on Slack, whether the past messages you have done, the posts you have made, comments you have, engaged in, and stuff like that. Every of that is taken down on your Slack history plane. Okay, another way to get your history plane is by clicking on this history plane here. Once you click on it, it will give you a drop down of the things that you have done so far on Slack. We have forward, we have composer announcement. All these are just the various channels that already exist in this Slack workspace. All right. Under Windows here, you can sign in already. We saw this. And lastly, help. If you don't understand anything, you want to update your Slack, you want to do anything at all that is giving you a tough time, you can always ask for help directly, either from your colleague or from the Slack support team. Okay, so with this, you are good to go as far as Slack is concerned. Up here also is used to search. Okay, every other thing here are what you can play around with, not so techy and not so difficult to understand. The last thing I just want to touch on here on Slack is the different ways to send messages. Some of us are already familiar with them. You want to send a message to a particular channel and you want everybody in the channel to get that message. You can begin your message with @channel. Okay, @channel. As soon as you type @channel, you type a message in front of it and you click on send. Everybody that is online at that moment will receive that message. Every single person online will receive the message, provided you started your message with @online. Okay, but if you change, and this only applies to all channels, okay, but if you are to be in general and you want to send a message to everybody, whether they are online or not, you begin your message with @everyone. Okay, @everyone. As soon as you do this, you can see it's telling you to notify everyone in your workspace. As soon as you do this and you type out your message and send, every single person on that Slack workspace. Remember I said general group is a group where every member of this Slack workspace will belong to. So everybody on this Slack workspace will receive the channel, whether they are online or not. But you cannot use @everyone on any other channel except general. So in place of @everyone, you use @channel to converse with other people in other channel. And the difference is using @channel will only notify everyone in a particular channel that is online. Okay, but using @everyone will notify everybody that is both online and offline, provided they are on that Slack workspace. All right. So other things here are things that many of us are already familiar with. If you're already a chatter, you can create a video, you can send a voice note, you could send a smiley and an emoji, you could mention somebody's name. Okay, you could even hide formatting, you could make bold what you're writing, italicize, or send a strike through it, send a link, or what have you. These are some of the things we saw when we dealt with Google Documents. Okay, that's the likeness of it. And on this, click on this plus sign. You can make a post, create a reminder, add a file directly from your Google, or add a browser shortcut. You could even check out your most recent files and upload files directly from your computer. So with this, we have come to the end of Slack tutorial. Okay, and so we proceed to Trello. Navigate to Trello. You want to open your browser and click on Trello or search for Trello.com. Trello is actually a project management tool. While that is still coming up, let's just go ahead and explain to us what Trello seems like, because I love to explain most of these softwares with analogies that we are very familiar with. Okay, now for those of you that work in schools, or those of you that teach in schools, or those of you that work in companies, you must have walked into a company, for instance, and you stumble on what looks like a blue notice board. Okay, a blue notice board is usually at the receptionist section of a particular office or company or organization, what have you. Okay, now imagine that notice board as wide as it is. Now on that notice board, different things can go in there. Even though some notice board, all you see there are just pins upon pins, nothing there, nothing else. But an average notice board is actually meant, just as the name implies, it is meant to pass notice to the people of the organization. Okay, so imagine a notice board with a note on it, and there are different kind of notes that you can find on a notice board. You can find the memo. Those ones are usually written with A4 papers. Okay, you can even find notification to the staff and the contract workers and whatever you. All those ones go into the A4 paper, right? And there are also some short notice, okay, that could be written on what is called sticky notes. For those of you that know what sticky notes is, those tiny jotters that have gum attached to it, which you can actually detach. They usually come in different colors. Okay, so imagine those kind of sticky notes are also present on the notice board. Now, you have a notice board, which is the back plane of your Trello board. I'm trying to use the notice board now as an analogy to show you what a Trello board looks like. So your Trello board is like your notice board. Okay, now you have notes that are written on your A4 paper, for instance. Those ones will make up to-do lists. All right, those ones are what you find as to-do lists, or generally they are called lists on Trello. We'll be seeing that shortly. And then lastly, we have cards. Okay, those can be likened to your sticky notes. So your cards are on your list and your lists are on your board. Let's quickly jump into that. But before then, I already mentioned to us that if you want to open a Trello account, which I don't recommend anyway, except you just want to, it's yet to come up. Sorry, let me just refresh this. To open a Trello account, once you head over to Trello.com, and then you can see get Trello for free or sign up for free. Okay, so once you click on any of that, it will take you through the process to sign up for Trello account. All right, so that is that for that. Once you're signed in, this is what you get to see. At the top here, you see Workspace. Workspace, just like we just saw on Slack, Workspace talks about the different accounts of different companies or organizations. Again, Trello is also a collaboration tool, like I mentioned already. So it is assumed that if you're opening Trello, you're opening as a business person, you want to use it for business purposes. Okay, even though Trello can also be used to keep track of your task. All right, there are different things you could do with it, but mostly used by project managers. So under Workspace, you will see the different companies or the different workspace that you belong to. Again, this is for my client and this is for me personally. So I use this to teach most times, to show examples, but this is for my client. Now, that is for Workspace. Recent, as the name implies, shows you the most recent things that you have opened on Trello. All right. Start, just as we saw on Gmail. Any message or any board or any card that you have started, you will likely see them under start boards. Okay, just particularly boards. Templates, just as we saw when we were dealing with Google Documents, Sheets, and the rest of them. These are already made boards, okay, for you to use. If you don't know how to create one from scratch, you can just call on any of these ones and you can begin with them. So if you're trying to create a board for company overview, or you're trying to create a board for project management or remote team meetings, simple project board, teaching, weekly plannings, and the rest of them, and let's do that. And if you want to create your board from scratch, you can click on create. Okay, any board that you have created at all will appear under boards, and that is what you can see here. At the topmost here, you can see most popular templates: project management, Kanban. We already saw templates, so these are the most popular ones. The start, you can just see the repetition of this. Recently viewed, which we just saw here, recent,
and then your workspace, which is this. Okay, so this is just a repetition of what we already saw. Now we would head over into the Trello account proper so that we'll see exactly what it looks like. I also need to mention to us that Trello has a paid version and a free version. We'll see the difference once we get into the workspace. You're also entitled to creating about 8 Trello boards. Okay, of course, you wouldn't need to create all 8 at once, but if for any reason you need more than 8, you can always delete the ones you do not need and create another one. So once you open a Trello account, you can invite people to join. Okay, you can invite people to join your Trello board or workspace. And how do you invite people to join your Trello workspace? You simply open the Trello workspace that you belong to if you are the owner or the creator. Open the Trello workspace you belong to, head over to members, click on the plus icon, and then you can invite people to join your Trello account. Okay, so you can either enter their email if you know them, or you can simply create an invite link for them, copy it out, okay, and then send it over. All right, so I will send this link to us. For those who are interested, you can hop into my Trello account and play around with things you find there. Okay, so that is that for sharing of invite link. So let's head back to the Trello board and see what we can do with Trello. So already, if you want to create a fresh board, you can go ahead and click on boards, and then it would ask you if you want to create a new board. You can either create one here. Remember, I am presently in this workspace, Mac Pure. All right, so you want to be sure of where you are before you create any board. I can either create board here, or I can create inside the Trello board itself or Trello workspace. So everything here is like your dashboard for the Trello workspace. All right, so to enter into a board that you already have, this is a board that I created for Freelance Masterclass. So I click on it, it will take me right into the board. So everything here, you can see this purple background. This is the board. Okay, everything here is the Trello board. Every single thing that you're seeing me hover my mouse around is a Trello board. Right here is the board. You can see upgrade to get more views, but I don't want to upgrade to anything of such. What workspace are you working on presently is this. We already saw this at the beginning. So the name of the board is Freelance Masterclass, and you can see it is starred. The name of the workspace I am working on, my Pure Digital Agency workspace. Okay, the workspace is made visible, so anybody I invite or anybody I share the link with, they can actually join. Like you can see, many of these people here are people that I sent out the link to during the training, and they just felt like joining and they joined. Okay, so I already sent out the link to you. You can choose to join if you want to, and this is another way you can share invite link to people. Okay, but the difference between this and that which I just shared is that the previous one I shared will invite people to your workspace, not this board. But if you share the link to this particular board, okay, you share the link to this particular board, then it means that people on your board can have access to this board and can even change anything that they see on the board. So you want to be sure that the people you are sending out anything to are people that you want to share your board with. So since this is a freelance masterclass, I will simply share the link to you, and then you can choose whether or not to join. So that is the link. You can see there are different links. This one ends your freelance masterclass and this one does not. So that is how you distinguish what link you have sent out and which one you should not send out if you do not intend to send it out. Okay, these are all the different participants of this board. Okay, now I said this is power-ups. Power-ups, just like we saw on Slack, managing applications. Okay, so manage applications is to integrate a third-party application, okay, into your Slack workspace. Integrating a third-party application into your Slack workspace. Now, for Trello, you can also integrate third-party applications into Trello. Third-party applications like Google Calendar, Calendly, even Zoom and the rest of them, okay, can be integrated into Trello as well. But unlike Slack, Trello only allows you to integrate one application at a time if you are using a free version. But if you are using a paid version, you can integrate multiple applications. You can also have automation set up, but this is usually for administrators. Okay, automations on Trello is the same thing as workflows on Slack. Okay, but their workaround is quite different. But they hope they intend achieving the same purpose, or they are geared towards achieving the same purpose. All right. Filters are just like the name implies. They help you filter different boards or different cards according to your search keyword. Okay, a click on show menu. A click on show menu will bring down all these activities here. Okay, showing you what is happening on your board. So without wasting much time, let's touch on exactly what the board is used for. Now, I said already that this background you're seeing here is the board. This which you are seeing here, this thing I'm clicking on, this one here, and this one, these are called lists. These are what I refer to as the A4 paper. Okay, these are the lists. You can name them to-do list, you can name them doing list, and this is done list. And you can even add other lists if you want to. Okay, now I have named my 3 lists as to do, doing, and done, meaning everything under this list should be the things I intend doing but I have not touched. Okay, but I'm scheduling it up so that I don't forget it. They are like scheduling your task. Doing, these are the things that I am doing presently. Okay, done, these are the things that I have completed. All right, so each of these lists has its own card that should be produced on them. And to create a card, simply click on add a card. Okay, once you add a card, you can type in anything that you want on the card. In this case, let's say Easter holiday break. Okay, Easter holiday break, sorry, holiday. All right, break. Let's say for freelance masterclass. Okay, this is a program for the Easter holiday break. And then after I have given it a name, I can, take out this Grammarly. Meanwhile, I advise everybody to have, if you have a PC, make sure you download Grammarly, because most of the employers will be working with the white guys. Once you are not good with spellings, or you make too many mistakes while typing, they may take the job away from you. So Grammarly helps you to check your errors, your grammatical errors very easily. So this is a card I'm trying to create. I've given the card a name. I can head over to this section, these 3 dots, click on it, and then I can add members to the card. The members I can add are members that are already on this board, or members that are already on my workspace. So you can see them. All these members, I can decide to add any of them that I feel like adding. Okay, So once I add them, for instance, I add this person and that person, and then they are now on my workspace, on this particular card. You can see a card can have multiple people and a card can have lesser number of persons. Cards are like tasks that you want to assign to people. So ensure that when you are assigning a task to people, just like some of your bosses will be doing, when they want to assign a particular task to you, they will create a card for you and attach your name to that card so that you would know that you have been assigned a task, and that task is the card that your name has been attached to. And on your own end, when you open your PC or you open a phone, because Trello also has a mobile application, you open a PC or you open a phone, you would see a notification up here. Once you see the notification and click on it, it will tell you what has happened, where your name has been mentioned, and so on. Okay, so when this is achieved, I can still head over here and give this card a label. Usually I love to label all my to-do lists with the color red. You know, red signifies danger. So depending on any color you decide, it's not compulsory it must be red. But for me, I'm explaining why I use red. You know, red helps me to remember that if I don't attend to this, it could cost me something. So once I see it, it triggers my my attention, and I'll be tempted to want to look at what is contained in the card. So that is why I love to use color red for to-do tasks. Okay, so that is that for creating labels. All right. You could also position the card. Okay, you could give it a priority. If you want the card to be number 1, for instance, you take it to number 1 and place it on number 1. You see the card has moved up if it is a card that has a high priority. Okay, or you can change the position if you want back to number 2. So that is how you position your cards. As many cards as you have. Okay, if you have multiple cards there, you will see different numbers where you can place the card. Another thing you can do to position your card is just to drag the card. Click on it, drag it, and move it down. You see the way it's moving? Take it down, and it goes. Click on it again, drag it down. Sorry, drag it down, and it switches again. So that is one interesting thing with Trello. So the same thing applies. If, for instance, I am done with the task on this card, I can move it to done, showing that I am done with this card. Okay, so that is how it is done. If it's something you want to start attending to, I can bring it over to doing, and then I open the card, change the label. Sorry, not date. I change the label, change it to what color? Yellow. Okay, and take out the red. If you just tick on another color, the 2 colors will be there. You can see that. So make sure that it is the exact color you want it to have. Take out the red and then close it. It will automatically stay with yellow. Alright, so that is how you change cards. If it is done, you bring it down to done, click on this, change the label to green and then tick yellow, and then it shows that you are done with the card. Alright, so now let's check out exactly what this card contains. Is it just the label or what have you? Let's see exactly what the card looks like. So we'll open the card in full view. Of course, if you do this, you change what you want to change, you can always save it. But if you don't want to click on save, you can click on anywhere on the screen and it will automatically be saved for you. So to open the card in details, you double click on any of the card you want to open. So I double click on this. Let's use this for instance. I double click on this. This is the card that I've done with the previous class. Once you double click on it, you will see. Okay, let's start with a fresh card so that you also have a feel of what it is. Double click on the fresh card, see what it is. The name of the card, which is the task. Remember I said a card is a task that has been assigned to some persons. So these people here are either the assigners or the assignees, the people that have been assigned the cards or the one that assigned the card. So if you are here, it is either you and your boss are on this card. Your boss is supervising the card, you are working on the card. Okay. So these are the members on the card. This is the label of the card, as the name of the card. It is under this list called to-do list. Okay. And then the description of the card. If I were to be your boss, I create a card for you, which is supposed to be the task that you attend to. I can help you to describe what you are supposed to do or what is expected of you on this card. Okay, say cover, just like we are doing now, cover Slack, Trello, and Zoom before Easter break. Okay, before Easter break. This is the task that has been given to me, for instance, and then it is saved. So if, for instance, the boss has assigned me this task, and then on my own end, I receive a notification, I open it, I saw that my name is on this task, I click on the task, double click on it, the card will open up, and then I can simply go ahead to, sorry, what's happening to my network? Open card. Okay, so I was trying to double click and it's not opening. Alright, so I just came over to the pencil icon and then click on open card. That should open the card. So now I open the card. I haven't seen that my name is on the card. I open up the card and then I head over to the description. What have I been asked to do? I've been asked to cover Slack, cover Trello, and cover Zoom before Easter break. Okay, so I've already started teaching you people. Activity here talks about what you have done. Okay, you have to give a record of what you have done. Each thing that you do on this card, record it out. The good thing about Trello is that even in your absence, your boss or anybody else that has access to this card can log into their own Trello, open up their board, open up the card, and see what you have done. So you see why it is called a project management tool, so that where you are not present, work is not hindered. Okay, so for instance, now I say first, Slack has been covered. Okay, Slack has been covered. All right, and then 2, I can say Trello is being covered. Okay, let's say I just finished with Trello today and then I didn't finish up with Trello and I dropped this note. So I would save it. Remember, this is watching. Watching means I am watching this card. Okay, I will save the card details and you see it has automatically saved as my activity. So that even if I log out and I go to church today, for instance, and my boss is a Muslim, and then my boss logs online, opens the card, and then he comes to this card and sees Slack has been covered. He understands that, okay, I have started the task he has given me. Trello is being covered. You understand that, okay, I'm still working on Trello, remaining Zoom. Okay, so this is how Trello works for different people at different organizations. So the more you update your task or your activity, the more you work on this task, the more you should update your activity. So I can come back now after going to church and returning, and I come back and update it and write 3. You can write it in any format. It mustn't be the number format. I can write Trello has been covered. Okay. Trello has been covered. All right. And then I save it. See, it has updated on a different slate. All right. And that is how you continue to update your activity so that you don't leave work empty or you don't act as an hindrance to other people's work. This also helps people of the same team not to repeat a job that has already been done due to assumptions. Okay, now that is how to operate on this activity level. This is where you get to join. You see that my name has automatically entered into this card. Meanwhile, previously I was not a member. That was why it was showing me to join the card. Okay, but if I was already a member, I'll be joining. I would not be seeing the join list. What I'll be seeing is members. So if I click on members now, I can either search up this member. I can decide to remove this member. Okay, and I can also remove myself if I want to. Okay, and I can even add another person if I feel like this person has been fired, person has been sacked. I don't need him on my card anymore. Let this new colleague come and take over this task and start working on it. Okay, so this is how that is done. Or if you feel these people are not capable enough, remember I told you this is a particular board called freelance board, and only people that have been invited to this board will be seen here. So if I feel these people cannot do the job, but there is somebody in this company that can do the job, all I need to do is invite the person from outside the board, which is within the company's workspace. Once I click on it, it will automatically show me the names of everybody in the workspace, both those that are seeing the board presently and those that are not seeing the board at all. See that? Like, for instance, this person now, M is not here because he is not a member of this board, but he is a member of the the Trello workspace. So if I feel he is more capable to do this job, I can invite him, and then he will automatically be able to see the card without necessarily entering into the board. You see that? So this is how you generally invite different people to join this particular card or any particular card. We already saw labels. You can give a card labels. Labels are like easy ways to shuffle your card. Okay? Because with labels, you can easily search for your cards by the color of the card. Alright? So if you have thousands of cards already on your board and you don't know where exactly the card that you're looking for is, but you know the exact color that is on the card, you can use colors to filter this card. That is where the filter comes into play. The filter we saw somewhere around here. You can use colors to filter the card, and it will filter out all the other colors, leaving only the color that you think holds that card. And then from the color, you can easily, fish out where the card is. So that is why labels is very important. Checklist. Checklist is another way to, report your activity. Okay? Or another way to assign you the different tasks that you are required to do. Let's say tasks. That's the name of the checklist. Tasks to be completed before Easter break. Okay? If there is another template that you already have, you can copy it from there. But here we don't have any other template, so we click on add. So you see the checklist have been created. Tasks to be completed before Easter break. And then I can say 1, the first task, teach Slack. This is another way to give you an assignment by your boss. Teach Slack. And then I go there, I write teach Trello, teach Zoom. You see that? And the list can continue like that. Okay? Now, if I come on this card and I start taking this task one after the other. I finish teaching Slack, I tick on teach Slack. It will give me a percentage of completeness. Okay, if for instance I finish teaching Trello now, I'll click on teach Trello. It will increase the percentage of completeness, meaning I'm almost done with this card. So if I finish with Zoom now and I click on teach Zoom, then my boss logs on and then he sees that I have ticked the 3 tasks he has given me, showing that I am done with this card. Okay, so the card can either be discarded, or it can be deleted, or it can be archived. Okay, so that is how to use checklists. All right, and once a checklist is done and the card wants to be reused, you can just hide the items so that you don't have too many checklists. Meanwhile, you have already finished the one that needs to be finished. Okay, and you can also decide to delete this one so that you can reuse the card if you want to. All right, so other things you can actually do via checklist is that you can also invite people. Okay, invite people or assign dates and members. So here is the date. You can assign dates, but as you can see, it is for a paid task. I mean a paid version of Trello. But you just need to know that you can assign dates. Your boss may have a paid version of Trello. So when they give you a task like this on this particular card, they can assign a date that the task will be due. So you want to be sure that the date, you work on the card before the due date, and you ensure to finish the task before that due date. Your boss could also invite somebody else to work with you if they feel like. Okay. Other things you can do is to convert to the card, delete the card if you want to. I mean the task rather if you want to. So that is that for checklists. Another thing we want to look at is we already talked about dates just now. We want to look at attachments. Your boss or your client can also decide to give you an attachment. Perhaps the work they gave you is to teach this, and then they felt that you may need a document to guide you. Okay, this is how it is done. The boss attaches a document, opens his computer or his own Trello account or his Google Drive. You can see Dropbox, Boss OneDrive, or whatever. Or even if the document is attached to a particular link, you could just type in the link here and then attach. Or if it is from the computer, I click on computer, it opens up the computer, search for the item, and then you attach. Okay, you attach the item. Once you attach the item, let me search for one item to attach here so I see exactly how that works. Okay, you can see uploading files. It has been uploaded. So this is an image actually. Okay, it's an image. It has attached the file here. Okay, so that when you who have been given the task wants to work, you can then open the file to read what is contained in the file so that it can guide you on what you need to do. So that is that for file attachment. All these other features here that are not showing up are for paid versions. We already spoke about power ups. You can add power ups, but one at a time. I said that already. Power ups are like third-party applications that you can link up to your Trello account. So this is where you can find power ups. You can see the different power ups that are available. Their categories: analytics power ups, automation power ups. You can see file management power ups. You can see communication and collaboration power ups. Okay, you can see Slack. You can attach your Slack to Trello. All right, so these are some of the things that you can do. Even there's some other applications like that you can see Gmail. Okay, you see so many of them. Google Hangout. You can see so many power, but because this is a free version, you are only entitled to adding just one at a time. All right, so that is that for adding power ups to your Slack to your Slack workspace, or to your card rather. So back to the card, we can also add buttons, but this is also a paid feature if I'm not mistaken. To add a button, you can move card to. Adding a button simply means you're adding a clickable button to a particular card. Okay, you're adding a clickable button to a particular card, but I don't think you'll be needing all this for now. Okay, or you can also create a custom button. Other things you can do is to move the card to wherever you want to. You can copy the card if you want to paste it elsewhere. You can use it as a template if you want to always refer to this card. If what you have set up on this card is something that can be used and used and used again, you can decide to make it as a template so that you don't need to start typing everything again. You just need to reuse it, edit it, and send it and assign other people to it. Okay? Watch means I am watching the card. Okay? Meaning I am present on this card watching it. Alright? So archive, if you are done with the card, you don't need it anymore and you don't want to delete it, you can archive the card. And you can also share this card if you deem fit. Okay? So with this, we have come to the end of Trello. Alright? Last thing we want to deal with today is Zoom. And as you all know, Zoom is a conferencing tool, also a communication tool. So what you want to do to get over to Zoom is to Google Zoom, and then the URL is zoom.us. Click on video conferencing, and then you'll be brought to the sign up page. Okay, you're brought to the sign up page. You also need to know that Zoom has both mobile version and desktop version. So basically, Zoom is an application that can be used for training, can be used for seminars, webinars, teaching, classworks, and the rest of them. It actually gained prominence during the COVID-19. A lot of companies began to use Zoom for their company meeting, for their different teachings, and the rest of the things that was helping them keep sane and keep profit as a company. So you can also head over to Zoom to download the client. If you have a PC, you can download the PC version on the phone, which I recommend, and then you can also download it on your mobile device. Okay, so to sign up, once again, click on sign up. If you don't sign up on Zoom, you might not be able to use it. So to sign up on Zoom, click on sign up, and then you will be taken through the process to sign up on Zoom. Okay, but for myself, I already have a Zoom account, so I wouldn't be signing up. I just simply sign in with my Google account. Hopefully this works. Then we can log into Zoom. We are in. Okay, so one disadvantage of Zoom being used as a free version, okay, not as a, because it has both free and paid version. One disadvantage of using Zoom in the free mode is that you are limited. Somebody's microphone is on. Please turn off your microphone so that I don't kick you out of the meeting. So as I was saying, one disadvantage of using Zoom for a free call or a free meeting or a webinar or a teaching purpose is that you are limited to 45 minutes time. After 45 minutes of your meeting, whether you are done or you are not done, Zoom will kick all of you out. And for you to continue that meeting, you have to restart that Zoom meeting, or all of you can join again with the link. So every 45 minutes, you'll be experiencing going out and coming on. Okay, that is just the major disadvantage of Zoom, and that is basically why I don't use Zoom. Okay, however, if you are using Zoom with another person, just one-on-one, then you will not experience that, and you can have that session for 24 full hours non-interrupted. Okay. Another advantage of Zoom, however, is that Zoom has internal recording. Zoom has what is called breakout sessions and the rest of those things like that. Okay, breakout sessions means while you are on Zoom, you can have group sessions still within the same Zoom meeting. You people, if there are 100 people in the Zoom meeting, you could break out into groups of 5, each group 20 persons, without necessarily having to leave that Zoom meeting that you are. Okay, but all these features are only present in the paid version. So let us see exactly how to host a meeting on Zoom. To host a meeting on Zoom, you go over to host a meeting. If you are on the web browser version, you click on host a meeting and you decide whether you want to host a meeting with your videos off or with your video on, or a webinar where you can only share your screen. Whichever one you decide, click on it. Let's say video off, and then as if you have the desktop client, that is the desktop version of Zoom downloaded and installed on your PC. As soon as you try to host a meeting, the Zoom client will pop up asking you whether you want to use that desktop app to open the meeting, or if you feel you don't want that, you could head over to launch the meeting via your web browser. But with the desktop app, it is usually more stable. The same thing with the mobile app. So you click on Zoom, open Zoom, and then the desktop client will begin to open. You can see it popping up already. So that is the Zoom popping up. Here we go. So as soon as you open the Zoom, this is me opening it for the first time on this new computer. That is why I'm seeing this. Okay. It's asking me to set up this. So I can join with computer audio. Okay, I can join with computer audio. And you can also test the speakers and microphone to be sure that it's working. Alright. So I'll just click on join with computer audio because I know it's working. Alright, so let me expand the screen so that you can see exactly what it is. So if your video is off, remember I signed in with Zoom with my Google link, my Google account, and this is the picture of my Google account. That is why once my video goes off, my picture will automatically come on. If you don't have a picture on your Google account, your name or the symbol or description of your name, if your name is Mary, you will see a capital M on your screen. That is why it's advisable that you use your picture, okay, when you have a Google account. Update your picture on it. At the bottom end here, you see different icons. Extreme here is the mute icon, that is the microphone icon. A click on it will simply mute the microphone. You can see that. And if I click on it again, the microphone will be active. Alright, so that is there for the microphone icon. And then if for any reason you are told that your microphone is not on, or you can hear people but people cannot hear you, then you head over to this microphone section, click on this arrow by the side, and then search for your microphone. Okay, search for the name of the microphone. Presently I am using a headphone. Okay, and that is why a headphone is connected and ticked for me. If I disconnect my headphone, it will automatically switch over to the computer's internal microphone. Okay, so that is how you locate which microphone you are using. A click on this will open up my video. You can see that my video is showing presently. So if I don't want that, I can close it up again, and then it goes off and shows my picture again. Avoid coming over to the security except if you have something very crucial to do there. But then we can see what's on security. You can lock a meeting. You can enable waiting room. Okay, some of you are asking that I should allow people in without having to admit them every time they click on the link. Well, that feature is available on Zoom. But like I told you, if we are to use Zoom for this meeting or this training, everybody will have to be joining again every 45 minutes. And that is not really advisable for a training like this. Okay, but if it is a paid version, then you are good to go on that. You can hide your profile picture if you don't want people to see it, so that they can only see your name. Okay, and then I like leaving my picture there. Sometimes it has saved me a lot of questions. So I can also share my screen from here. Oh, sorry, this is to allow, basically this is like a host settings. So I can allow participants to share their screen if I want them to, and I can decide that they cannot share their screen if I don't want them to share their screen. I can allow them to send in chats. Usually, many people are very fond of, when they are in a meeting, they will start sending chats. Maybe the trainer or the speaker says something, you immediately chat the person. On Zoom, anything you send out via chat will show up on everybody's screen. I will still talk about chat very soon. So usually, if you are the one hosting a meeting on Zoom, it's advisable you disable the chat so that people don't use that chat to disturb you. Okay? Then after you are done training, you can enable the chat feature so that those who are shy and cannot speak up can use the chat feature to ask their questions. All right? You can also allow people to rename themselves, but preferably it's advisable you use your real name for meetings. Okay? I can also allow people to unmute themselves. If I don't want this to happen, if I want everybody to stay muted till the meeting is over, I will just untick this. Once I untick this, it means everybody will remain mute. You will not be able to unmute your microphone, no matter how hard you try. Okay? I can also allow people to start video. All the while I've been complaining, switch off your video, switch off your video. If it were to be on Zoom, I won't be doing that. I will have disabled this feature so that none of you will be able to put on your videos. All right? So this is how you can actually use host settings on Zoom. All right? And I can also suspend participant activities. I can decide that participants should not be able to do anything at all here. Okay? Nobody should be able to do anything. I can do that here, and then I'll just suspend all the activities. You won't be able to chat. You won't be able to ask questions via chat. You won't be able to unmute your mic. So that is only good for webinars. Okay? Webinars that are not interactive. Perhaps you just want people to come and listen and go. You are not entertaining any question. You're not doing you can do that. Okay? Because once you do that, it will just be only you doing the talking. And once the talking is over, everybody dismisses. So that is where that feature is useful. The next one here would be for participants. Okay. Once you are a participant, you will see the number increasing. Presently, I'm the only participant here. That's why you're seeing 1. So once I click on it, it will show me all the participants that are here present. Okay. As it is, I'm the only one here, and I am also the host. I can decide that if there are more than one participant, I can decide to give another person the host position if I want to. To do that, you just click on more option here. Once you click on more, you will see another option drop down here asking you to share host or something of sort. Or if there is another name here, I can click on the name, and then you see a forward option here. Click on the forward button and you will see make host. Okay, so that is how you can make somebody a host. To practicalize that, because it seems as I'm speaking, some of you don't understand. Let me quickly join with another link, and then I'll share the screen later so that we can see exactly what we're talking about. But before then, still under this participant settings is where you can find the invite link. In case you're looking for an invite link to send out, you click on invite. You can either send out invite by email default, or send out via Gmail or by Yahoo Mail, or simply just copy the invite link and send it out. Okay, so once the invite link has been copied, I can send it out to anybody. So give me a few minutes, let me send out this invite link so that I can join with another facility, another device rather. So we can close this up once the link has been sent out, and then I will be joining with my mobile phone so you can see when somebody, now you can see there are two people in the group, even if it is the same person. Okay, because I am joining with the same Gmail, I was asked a question via my phone: do I want to claim the host or do I want to remain as a participant? So you can see the difference here. One is a host, one is a participant. So here I can unmute anybody and I can ask them to unmute because I am the host. This person here is a participant, so you can see I can chat them up, I can ask them to start their video, I can pin them to the head of the chat, I can make them the hosts, I can even rename them if I want to. I can push them out of the room and put them in the waiting room. I can remove them if I want to, and I can report them. Maybe they just barged into my meeting without paying for it. I can report them, and if I do this often, you might be banned from using Zoom. Okay, so this is basically how you get to see different ways to manage participants in a Zoom meeting. Okay, I can also just unmute them from you can ask them to unmute rather. You cannot unmute them directly. You can ask them to unmute if they are not unmuted yet. So that is that for the participant level. And if I feel there are some people whose microphone are on and disturbing me, all I need to do is just, without telling them anything, just head over to mute all. Once I click on mute all, it will ask you to mute all current and new participants. You click on yes, automatically everybody will be muted, so you will not hear any noise again. Okay, a click on this will show you to ask everybody to unmute themselves. Of course, this will warrant a serious noise. You can also mute participants upon entry automatically. You can allow participants to unmute themselves if you want to. Anything you tick here means you have approved it. You can allow participants to rename themselves if you want to. You can decide that I want to hear a sound whenever someone joins or leaves the meeting. But this will be a distraction, to constitute a distraction and a noise. You can enable waiting room. If I enable waiting room now, anybody joining with that link will need me to admit them before they can enter. But because I did not enable waiting room, anybody that joins with that link will automatically enter the room without me admitting them. Again, you can hide the profile picture and you can lock the meeting so that nobody joins. Once the meeting is filled, nobody joins. Now, for the free version of Zoom, it allows only 100 participants per time. Okay? Once it is 100, nobody else can join. But if it is the paid version, depending on the package you subscribe to, you can have as many people joining, up to 1,000 or thereabout, as possible. Okay? Now, other things that you may want to check out is the share screen option, or rather the chat option. Let's begin with the chat option. I close this. Oh no, sorry. Let me close the participant option. To close the participant option, just click on that same participant you clicked on. It will close it up, and then open the chat option. Now you will see a chat option like this. All right. If you want to send a message, any message you type here, say hello, would be seen by everybody because you are sending the message to everyone. So if I send out this message now, everybody will see the message, including myself on my phone. Okay? And it will show on some person's screen. Especially if you are using a PC, show on your screen. Okay? But if you don't intend sending everybody that message, perhaps you want to send a message to a particular person, what you need to do is open up this everyone, search for the name of that person, and then send a direct message to the person. This way, nobody else except the person you have highlighted will receive that message. So that is how to chat on Zoom. Don't just send a public message distracting both the host and the participant. That said, you can share your screen on Zoom by clicking on the share option. Once you click on share option, all these choices will be brought out for you to choose from. If I click on screen, it will automatically share my entire screen, everything on my laptop. But if I don't want you to see everything on my laptop, I just want to see a particular page on the laptop, then that is when I will have to start searching for where this page is. So presently, these are the pages that are open on my laptop. This is my web WhatsApp. This is my mobile WhatsApp. This is the recording. This is the a tab that is open on generate browser. This is another recording. Okay, this is the indicator of recording. This is the recording itself. This is a Google meeting. Okay, and other things. If I want to present the screen in a phone version, okay, so that my screen looks like a phone, I would use this, or an iPad. Or if I want to show something that I want to write on, I can use whiteboard, okay, so that you can see me writing something on my screen. All right, and I can also go for advanced features where I can share PowerPoint as background, share a content from another camera, share a portion of my screen, share a computer audio, or even a video. I can also share files from any of these platforms. Okay, so I just have to click, and then I click on share. Also, take note of this. I can decide to share the sound that goes with what I have ticked on, and I can optimize for the video if I want to. Once I am all set, I click on share and it begins to share. But you cannot be sharing two screens at the same time, because presently I am sharing my screen via Google Meet. So I may not be able to share via Zoom. So it is one screen at a time, except if you are using two desktop monitors, or you have a spare desktop monitor, you can do that. Another thing you can do is to record the meeting. So this is the advantage I mentioned about Zoom. You can actually begin to record the meeting.
Recording in progress.
So as soon as recording begins, you will see a red sign showing up here, and then every participant will get a notification that this meeting is being recorded. Do you still want to continue with the meeting? If you say yes, it will take you into the meeting. If you are a new participant and you're trying to join newly, as soon as you click on the link, it opens up. It will tell you this meeting is being recorded. Do you want to join? You say yes, it takes you into the meeting. Okay, so that is that for recording. Here you can see reactions, where you can use any of these emojis to make a reaction for yourself. You can also raise hands, especially when it comes to webinars where you want to ask a question. The best way to ask a question on Zoom is to raise your hand. You can see it. So once you raise your hand, the host will see that your hand has been raised. Okay, the host will see that your hand has been raised. Let me show you something like that here now. You can see the feature here. This person has raised his hand. So the host will see that this person has raised his hand. Perhaps he has a question. You can also see it here. Okay, and then the host will then permit you to ask your question. All right, so once your hand has been raised and you have asked your question, the appropriate thing to do next is simply to put down your hand. And to do that, you just need to lower your hand. Okay, lower your hand, and that is it. So if you have raised your hand, if you click on this, you will see lower hand here, and that settles it. This is where you can add other applications so that you can present them on Zoom. Okay, if you have Zoom apps, these are like integrations. You already saw similar thing in Trello and on Slack. And here, under more, you can pause the recording and you can stop the recording. Okay, as soon as you stop the recording
stopped.
it will tell you that the recording has stopped. Okay, and it will automatically be saved for you, where you can always go back to it. But there's something else I want to show us.
Recording in progress.
Recording again. I would want to end the recording when I have finished what I am doing here. So now we are done with what we are doing. To end the meeting, simply click OK. Before then, you see the view option here. Once anybody joins, you will see their pictures. If their video is on, you will see their videos piling up somewhere around here. Different videos showing up here. Okay, and then you can also change the view. You want only the speaker to be talking, so that you see only the picture or the video of the speaker. You tick on speaker. If you want a gallery of people who are in the meeting, you can choose gallery and you will see all the participants in the meeting. Okay, if you want to see an immersive version, you can head over to immersive version, where it will show you how participants are participating in the meeting. But we don't have time for this now. Okay, so just leave it at speaker. Of course, full screen. It's very easy and straightforward. So that done, we can decide to end our meeting now. And then two things you can do. You can either just leave the meeting, especially if you are the host. This is the option you will see. You can leave the meeting so that people who are in the meeting can continue what they are doing. Or you can just end the meeting for everybody.
Recording stop.
As soon as you end the meeting for everybody, you can see what's happening here. The recording you made will automatically start piling itself or compiling itself. Okay? And then once it is done, you would be asked where you want to download it to or where you want to save it to. Then you can choose somewhere on your computer to save it, so that future reference you can always share it when you want to. So in this case, I'll just stop the recording because I don't need it. So I'll stop the recording and that's it. So we are done with Zoom. On this note, we are practically done with everything on communication and collaboration too. So much later, I will be sharing links for us to go over to study Zendesk, HubSpot, Asana, Monday.com, Intercom, Zapier, and the rest of them. Okay, so that will be that for today.